Hello there and welcome to my podcast. I'm Vladimir Mezintsev. I'm here today to show you how to develop an equivalent of Hello World program in LabVIEW. When you start LabVIEW, the first thing you have is a welcome screen, which is a sort of a number of options to create empty projects or blank virtual instrument, and some recently opened files and some online stuff you can find on National Instrument websites. In LabVIEW, everything is about everything is a virtual instrument. So I'll start the blank one. Okay. So the first thing you get is a couple of windows popping up. Those windows are essentially two faces of the same thing. This is two faces of just one virtual instruments. I'll try to fit them in the screen, in my screen. First window is a front panel. It's a sort of dashboard of your virtual instrument, and the second one is a block diagram. This is a back end of the instrument. The front panel includes different controls and dials that and also indicators that you would use while developing and using your instruments. And the block diagram describes all the back end like guts of electronic guts of your instrument. Now, as we are developing here the simplest of the instruments, I'd like to start with something you would see. That is something you would enter. That is a couple of numerical controls. What I want to do is a simple application which would do almost trivial manipulation with numbers. So I want to enter a couple of numbers and provide an addition and multiplication of these two numbers. Now, if you look at the way it appears on both panels, okay. When I create a control on front panel, it immediately appears in block diagram. Everything which is on front panel has its reflection in the instrument backend, that is block diagram, but it is not another way around, so that the instrument could have something which is actually hidden from the front panel. So far I have created two numeric inputs, and I want to call them X and Y. Okay. So I click on one caption and I call it X, and I click at another caption and call it Y. Right. You can see the reflection of these changes happened in block diagram. Now this is nothing to do with actual operations. I want to add two more indicators to show the results of my arithmetic operations. I right click to add more, and instead of numerical controls I add numerical indicators, like so. So I'll go for the simplest one, just showing numbers. Okay, you can see a numerical window here, and unlike this one, the first one, which I actually can edit, this one, okay, it does edit, but eventually it only produces results, only for showing something. Okay. Now I want to add another one, another indicator, the simplest one, put it here. Okay. I can actually move them around, just make the dashboard to be looking a little bit more symmetric, and maybe here as well. Okay. Now, at the moment, the controls at the dashboard, or front panel rather, according to the title, are rather disjointed. And what I have to do is I have to provide some actual arithmetic operations, but I can't do this on a front panel because there is no way I can actually observe it. You have to do it in a block diagram, and to add any arithmetic operations, you do right click. I'll do it again. Right click somewhere and choose arithmetic operations. I'll go for numerical operations, and then you can see quite a few of those. And and I'll go for addition, so that this little triangle can add two things. Apparently addition requires two arguments. That is one I would use, and that is another. Okay, and it produces just one single figure as a result. So that output goes to the first numeric input. At this point, I've got something meaningful already, and I just need to reflect it that I get that I get actually x at y, and that is a proper reflection of my operation. At this point I can actually run the project, so that I can actually start it by pressing the button run, like so, and it is sort of ready to accept my input. So I can do 1 and 2, press run, and you can see that 1 at 2 is 3. That's surprising. Now I want to connect the other button, the other indicator, which is still disconnected here. To do that, I would add another triangle, which would reflect that's something else, a multiplication, like so. Again, I have two operands that needs to be, they both need to be connected to the right numbers. I do it like that and send the result over to the other numerical indicator. Now everything is connected, and I can actually change this to x times y, just to reflect what is actually going on, and start doing meaningful things now. So that, let's say 4 times 5 should be 20 in the product and 9 as a sum, and that is indeed the case. Now what is something I dislike about it now is that I have actually a single operation, and every time I need to change something I have to run it again. I can do a cyclic run, repeating run, by doing a continuous run, next to the first run button, the single run button. If I do that, I have it constantly expecting some input, and that gives you infinite loop, whereby you're able to enter more and more things, and it's 8 at 6 would be 14. 8 times 6 will be naturally 48. The problem in this instrument is that you have to resort to this red button to abort execution, which is actually sort of emergency abortion, and I'd like to fix it in a actual backend. And so basically what I want to do is to implement continuous run in my instrument. Okay, so I'll do this abortion for now, and in order to do this loop, actually I have to implement a loop, and to do that I right click to insert an executive control, and I want a while loop, so that I embed all the operations here in a while loop. A while loop gives me a stop button so that it would produce the termination condition. So I want to move stop button down there. Okay, and now in principle that is all implemented, so that this loop will run infinitely over and over again until I will terminate the loop, the execution, with the stop button. Right, now I can run a single run, start a single run, and it will invoke the infinite while loop. And let's see what goes on. So it indeed waits for my input. Let's say it's gonna be 2 times, I don't know, 7, and 2 times 7, 2 at 7 is approximately 9, and 2 times 7 is 14. And I can do another example, 3, or let's say -3, and it makes the product to be negative indeed, and -3 at 7 is 4. And to terminate the process, I'll simply stop it with the stop button, and it's done. It comes back to the editing mode. Okay, this concludes the exercise. So this is the simplest of virtual instrument you can think of. Okay, thank you for watching. See you again.